Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is the topic of why do so many people hate liberals? So for this video, I, as a left-wing person, I'm going to discuss the reason why people hate liberals, specifically this new wave of woke, radical leftist liberals that have taken over the image of the liberal party, as a way, to help us liberals do a better job, of course, in fixing our image so we're more likely to win elections, as we are deeply hated at this period of time right now. So, in other words, this is constructive criticism so we can, of course, improve our image so we can get more votes, okay? So, now I mention that, let's get started. So, the first one is getting offended by everything. This is absolutely one of the first of the five points I'll be discussing why so many people hate liberals for this video, okay? This one is definitely, absolutely, undeniably very true. This whole culture of getting offended by everything. You can say the silliest thing and somehow it offends someone, whether it could be, making a movie and you call a character fat, or you call someone retarded, or, of course, aside from that, to be quite blunt and honest with you, it could be the most random thing and someone will put two and two together and say it's offensive, okay? It's just like you have a black person as a main villain for a movie and they'll say, why do I have the black person as the main villain? They will maybe say, something that's very silly, like nothing even that bad or something, and some way, somehow someone's gonna get offended, like maybe they should depict a Latin American nation, and somehow someone gets offended by saying it's such a stereotypical depiction of Latin America, yada, 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 whatever, and always just getting offended by literally every fucking goddamn thing. Like, I don't even know how the hell they get offended by it, but they some way, somehow do. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say. So that's one of the biggest reasons why so many people hate liberals, because in the end of the day, if you're having a friend who's a liberal and I have to walk on eggshells whenever I say anything around them, and more specifically, have to re-explain myself for every single freaking goddamn thing I say, then that doesn't sound like someone I really want to be around, let alone someone, who is a part of a political ideology that I'd want to support. And that's one of the biggest reasons why so many people hate liberals nowadays, okay? And the sad thing is not all liberals are like that, specifically the older version of liberals. It's a new generation of liberals who are like that. And that is exactly what I'm trying to get across here. So that's the first reason why so many people hate liberals, is that exact reason, and that's my first point. The second one is supporting gun control. Now, as we all know, we live in a world that's full of a lot of very negative people. You do not know what's going to happen. Something might come out of nowhere, and that's exactly what I am talking about right now, okay? We live in a dangerous world sometimes, whether it could be humans or even animals. Sometimes violence is something that we have to admit is real, and we cannot deny the fact that it is something that's a possibility. So to be quite blunt and honest with you, guns obviously is an effective weapon. So as a result, we need guns to protect ourselves. And the truth of the matter is, when it comes to gun control, gun control, that is a very controversial issue, because a lot of liberals, because of the amount of mass shootings and stuff, haven't really done a very good job in kind of specifying how they can end a gun control, what exactly they mean for gun control, okay? Because the truth is, let's be honest, we do need gun control. You don't want every and anybody getting access to guns, specifically someone who might have a history of mental illness and a criminal record and so on and so forth. But here's the thing. At the same time, you also have to keep in mind, though, as well, there's a difference between having gun control and having a full-blown ban on guns. And a lot of liberals, specifically the more radical ones, this new generation of liberals, haven't specified when it comes to gun control, okay, we want to have gun control, but we do not want to ban guns. They haven't specified it. And as a result, that's why so many people hate them, because obviously you need guns as a way to, well, protect yourself, for that matter, So as a result, that's why so many people hate liberals, because they haven't done a good job in explaining, what exactly you mean by gun control. Do you mean we should have limitations on guns, or should we straight up ban it? And a lot of them haven't made it very clear. And that's the second reason why some people hate liberals, because obviously people need to protect themselves, and taking away someone's right to protect themselves is definitely sure as hell not a good way to make people like you, okay? And that's my second point. Their third point for this new radical left is their stance on crime. Now, this one is definitely very stupid. And I literally do not believe in this way of thinking, but it's very true, to be quite blunt and honest with you, which is their stance that, for crime, that that people should be focusing on rehabilitation instead of putting criminals actually in prison, which is the biggest reason why a lot of major cities in America, like New York City, Los Angeles, like other ones as well, maybe even Miami, but I know Chicago and Detroit definitely have this issue, specifically Chicago, out of those two cities has this issue, which is the issue of they focus more on rehabilitation. So someone can commit an evil crime, and in like a few days or even a week, they're out of prison, because their way of thinking is rehabilitation. Let's not actually put people in prison for a crime. Let's just say, oh, it's a system that is responsible for why they're in the situation that they're in, and leave it like that. So that's exactly what I'm trying to say here. So to put it bluntly, to be quite blunt and honest with you, that is a stupid way of thinking. And old school liberals, even like Obama era liberals, specifically for the first term, would have thought that was complete fucking madness. And that's the third reason why everyone hates liberals so much, is that they support that way of thinking, and it's sad, because there's a difference between liberals who are authentic liberals versus this new radical woke liberals who just are extremely goddamn annoying and support this type of stupidity, and even support political ideology that is problematic, which leads me to my fourth point, which of course is their support of communism. Now, this one is just absolutely stupid. Communism is a fucking joke. Every nation that has ever embraced that ideology has collapsed. Look at every nation if you've ever visited nations, that are communist, okay? Whether Venezuela, Cuba, another one could be potentially maybe Russia, whatever, like those nations, okay? Every single one of those nations, okay, look like complete shitholes, okay? I went to Cuba over a decade ago, and it's so sad, because they're such a magical people with such a magical, rich history, a very rich culture, and so on and so forth, and their country looks like shit, okay? Their country looks like it looks run down. It's not very well kept. It does not look very well kept, and it's so sad, because these are beautiful, amazing countries out there. Cuba, Venezuela, not necessarily Russia, but there's a lot of nations out there that are amazing places that, due to communism, they're freaking crappy. And the reason why I'm saying this is because communism as a whole, as an ideology, not just down aesthetics, is a failure. Every nation that has ever supported communism has always failed, okay? They've all had collapses. They all have financial issues. They all have issues with mass starvation, people being kidnapped and stuff. Every nation that supports communism has always failed and will always continue to fail. Even look at how Cuba's doing now, this year. Like they're on the verge of a complete downfall, because there's not enough food, water, and all sorts of things. So what my point is that communism is a shitty ideology. It does not work, and it will never work, okay? And they're supporting an ideology that they want to push, that God forbid it takes over the United States. Good luck with trying to get out of it, because communism also is very good at making sure people don't have any freedom, whatsoever. for that matter, especially with technology. Just like China, they're never going to be free, no matter how you look at it. Like how are they ever going to be fucking free? Like how do you become free from communism, especially with how much technology has advanced? So that's my fourth point: to support an ideology that has always failed and is problematic, which is why people do not like them for that matter. Okay, so that's my fourth point. Okay, you know and now my fifth point is their promotion of homosexuality. Now, I'm someone who supports gay rights. If gay people want to be able to marry and be able to live the life they want to live, they should be able to. But there's difference between, okay, you want to live that life versus you're trying to tell people it's okay to be that way. Because to be honest with you, it is not okay to be that way. Okay, and in general, to sum up what my point is, people should decide if they want to do it. Okay, because there definitely are some downsides to being gay, to be quite blunt and honest with you. Okay, and they promote that stuff to people. Which anyway, this is part one. I'll get to that in part two. So bye.